What's happening? So good to be here right now, man. This freestyle jam is a special one for sure, and stay tuned for it because there's this yellow brick road, man. That this guy right here, Colton, who's built Erskine construction and seal coating in West Virginia, man. I remember the very first day that we had that phone call, and we'll talk more about it. But man, it's good to be here. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be here with me, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you very, very much for having me, man. Thank you so much. And I'm glad I took your advice those 4 years ago now.
And
So,
a lot has unfolded in the last 4 years, man. So why don't we go back? Let's take things back to the very beginning, man. Tell us a little bit about what the journey looked like in the beginning for you as you were exploring new opportunities to build a business, man. Bring us right back.
yeah. So just to get right down in the nitty gritty of it, for me at that point in time of my life, I was looking for an escape. I didn't want to be an employee, but I didn't want to be broke. And, I was really looking for that work-life balance and, also to have the financial freedom. I was looking at it at all aspects. And I was super scared. Whenever I called you on the phone, I was like, man, what am I going to do? Because, even if I buy all the stuff, where's the jobs, and then, how do I use it? And what do I do? And there's like a million questions, and every stage you get to, there's so many more. And so after I talked to you and, we just went with it, it has been a very wild ride. It's a beautiful thing. I have almost no complaints. It's hard and you got to put in the time, at first, but it is so well worth it. And I'm very, very glad that I did it.
All right, so let's dig into this, man. Let's unpack this thing. So first off, like as for you watching this video right now, just so Colton doesn't have a bucket and a squeegee, we'll just say, with his business at all in any way, shape, or form. He's built a multi-million-dollar operation. He's got a lot going on in his company and expansion, all kinds of cool things. So I hope that you stick through this video because you're going to take out golden nuggets, man, and you'll be able to apply it to your life, maybe expand that peripheral vision and help you grow and scale what it is that you dream of, man. So stick with us here. So Colton, as we're going through this journey, man, you're wanting to build your business, and it's like you're kind of drinking from a fire hose at the beginning, right? You're trying to figure out what to do. But I remember there was this point, man, where it was almost like an on-off switch for you, dude. It was like you had flicked that switch on and it was just, you were doing this thing.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like for you, dude?
Man, it was really scary at first because even after me and you had talked and I said, hey, I'm going for it. And the switch was on. I knew I was going to go for it, even from getting the unit. Well, now how do I plumb it up? Because I'm the prime example that if you can do it, all you have to do is really try every day, because I didn't know how to plumb up my units. I wasn't super mechanically inclined. I've never been to college. I've never been to sales school. Anything, I graduated high school, I played sports. I was just a normal guy that, you'd never think anything, outside the box. So it was a very, very scary thing at first. But you meet people every day and you'd be very surprised at how many people are going to welcome you in and want to see somebody trying to take on that struggle and trying to learn all this new stuff and just welcome you in and say, come on, let's get to work and let's try it out and keeps rolling.
What do you think the number one, and I know there's so many, but what would be the number one driver for you to build your business to something of magnitude? What was the number one driver for you? Or what is the number one driver?
It's almost kind of changed a little bit. At first, it was to be able to have that structure of a family and that home life, work life balance. And at this point, just throughout my life and, what's happened over the last 4 years, we're going into our fifth season now. Now it feels really good to try to get the wages up high. I like to see other guys thriving and doing well with us. My guys, I love to see them whenever they pull in, if they have a new ride or, they just bought something really cool or, moved or whatever, and everything works out good like that. I really enjoy seeing a perfect job turn out. At first it would almost scare you. If you've seen another competitor with a real sweet looking job, it's like, you knew it. and they knew it. So it's real scary. Like, can I do it? And then once you can, and you can do that consistently every day, that it just gives you enough drive every day. Every time you see a job, you want to see another one. You know, it's almost like an addiction to continue to just try to do better, and everything around you starts getting better. Your friend groups gets better. You don't have to worry about all your friends saying, "Oh, I'm broke and I'm worried about this," because your friends are probably going to be all the guys you work with. And they're doing good. They're happy to see you, you know, explode and grow. They're always willing to try to stick in there for you. It just feels good, man. The more you try, the more different little areas will just open themselves up and show you this is a beautiful thing. It's a fun thing.
For sure, man. It's exciting and it's also at the same time scary, man. It's like, you know, you go into things sometimes where, you know, you've grown a business to something of magnitude and, you know, you're not going and buying a $15, you know, tote steel coat spray system anymore, right? Like, or to try and put something together for $5,000 here. You're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah. So we this year have actually bought a couple of triaxles. We bought a shop, an office, some land. We've got a few extra skid steers now. We've got 3 skid steers now. You know the seal rig we got off Judd there. We got it this year, or off Jeff there, Jeff Nelson there. So you know, I mean, we've just boom, 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 and it's awesome because the more stuff you have, the easier some of these bigger jobs you was afraid of are now a walk in the park. You know, if you have enough equipment, we've got multiple ride-on blowers and road sweepers. And, you know, I hear some guys say rent, some guys say use the bank's money. I've always been the guy, I just want to use my own money. So, you know, whatever I do, I try to be really, really smart with it. I put it right back into the business. And I think the biggest thing sometimes that'll
You're muted. Click that mute button.
about that. But, you know, say like on a bad day, something really bad happens or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I've spent all this money, I've done this, and, you know, here's how much is in my account. Sometimes you get worried about it. But if you just keep.
You're muted.
And it just continues to get better. It continues to get better and better and better. And it's a snowball effect that as long as you get up every day and you try, it'll get better and better and better, you know.
All right. So with your growth that you've experienced over 4 years is a short time, right? But it's a short amount of time, brother. Like when I think back 4 years ago and I remember you literally in a shop, you're in a Tractor Supply or something. Is Tractor Supply
Ace Hardware in Shinston.
Ace Hardware, trying to find plumbing to put your rig together. And I remember being on video chat with you and doing my best to, you know, best to guide you while you're in the shop, showing me parts, and then to go from there to watching you seal coat these commercial lots that same season and just going for it, man. Like you were going all in on this thing, and you had never seal coated before, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the only seal coating that I had ever done was little driveways. I'd done just a little bit by brush and was kind of nervous for that, you know, because it was one of my buddies. He started up a lawn care business. He sealed driveways and he was like, hey, help me. Yeah, sure. I was out there as a helper, you know, just literally trying to throw in a hand and help him. And so I really didn't even know what I was doing with the brush. And that was the only way we had ever even did it. So, you know, whenever you was like, well, you know, we have this unit and then these units are capable of this and, you know, depending on your mix and blah, blah, blah. And you was kind of digging me into it. I'm going, oh man, another question. If you remember, I'm one of those really aggravating people where I think of things as I go and then I just want to ask. And sometimes I'll even overthink things. And I've learned that. I've had to work on myself a lot starting a business because, you know, and that goes into something else, you know, the more you see, if you're having a bunch of problems every day out of your guys, look at yourself and find out what you're doing, because the better you get, the better all your guys will get. They'll all, every single one of them, and, you know, everything in your life. But yeah, when we was down there, I had no idea how to put my unit together. And I was on the phone with you like, oh, what do I do? You know, so a lot's changed since then.
How many people are on your team? Like as you go into season here, how many people are going to be on your team? Because you're not like when I hear seal coating, that's one thing, but you're paving lots. You're doing much bigger stuff than just seal coating residential and commercial driveways and so on, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll have start out with at least 16 guys, and we'll probably get right around 25 guys this year.
What is it like to lead a pack, a tribe of people that literally you are the responsible individual as the leader of the pack? What's that like for you, man?
It's a huge blessing. I love it. I love every part of it. I really do. So it's a blessing. I like it.
So now where you are in this growth pattern and you really scaling your business to something of magnitude, what is your favorite thing to do on a daily basis? Like what's the top? What's the most favorite thing?
Right before we go home and everybody's all high-fiving around and good and happy, the job turned out good, we're paid and we're headed home. Yeah.
What do you think the difference, what is the key difference between the way that your company is taking care of the people and what you're seeing as the majority of other companies are taking care of their people out there? What do you think the key difference is? What do you do differently?
We've always thought quality, 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 even from the beginning with like additives and mixed designs and all the questions, what about weather and, how do I clean one? And it's quality all day, because if we say we're going to lay 3 inches of asphalt, we lay 3 inches of asphalt. We're not going to skim you. If we say we're going to seal it with a premium seal coat, we're going to have sand and polymer, and we're going to lay it down 50, 70 square foot a gallon. We're going to do you a real good job. We're brushing it at 30 and 35 square foot a gallon, whatever it is. Even through things like what you sell and many others, now with your software and everything, you can really figure that out, and it's very good. It's very, very beneficial to know your numbers well, and that way you can provide quality without the guesswork, because where there's guesswork, you got to play with your bid and you got to be scared and nervous or overcharge or whatever. So it's very good to know your numbers.
Oh man, that is such an important piece, knowing your numbers, man. Like a lot of people just say, well, how much should I be charging per square foot? And it's like, doesn't work that way, man.
Nope. Yeah, because I'll have people say, well, how much do you charge a square foot? And I catch myself going, I wonder. Because I don't, square foot, the only thing I use that square foot for is how much material do I need. But, you've got fuel, labor, your mobilization, how many pieces of equipment are you going to have? And what is that piece of equipment worth? If you have a quad axle or a triaxle and you can't make 1,000 a day, it sounds like a pile of money, but there's places for all of it to go. And, so you have to know, well, if I'm going to have a track, I have to have this much. If I'm going to have 2 skid steers and a mill machine and a broom, I'm probably going to be somewhere around here, and you have to always have somewhat of a gray area of an outline where you're able to make those on the move, about what range you need to be in based on the job, based on the time.
So important, man, especially, for guys that are just starting out in the industry or even just a year in the industry. I mean, I see people 3 years in the industry and they still don't understand their numbers. They think that, that they think that their cost of goods, the sealer and the crack sealer and their paint and their labor, they basically see that as their only cost, and they forget about everything else. It's like, right, man, I made 60% margin on this job, and it's like, no, you actually didn't. And that's where you hear a lot of the time, man, I hear it's like, and I've built a 7-figure company. I've built $1 million company. It's like, revenue is vanity, cash is king. Do you want revenue or you want cash, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you have to know the difference between the two numbers, because revenue is awesome and it feels real good at the end of the year whenever you see the numbers that's passed through. But at the end of the day, it really means nothing. What matters is how much did you make a day when it was all spent out. And what I do is I try to figure out, how much is my insurance, how much is this bill, that bill, and this other bill, and here's how much it is a month. So in 20 days of that month, I know I'm going to work at least 20. So how much does it cost me a day? And I already know at that number, I didn't make any money yet. And day to day, you will. But then whenever something comes up or your bill comes out or whatever, then it's back gone, and you got to keep track of, okay, well, B&O taxes and sales taxes, you got to account for them, add them, but don't forget about them, because if they come out in 3 months, you want to know what they was for and where they was. But it's not as challenging as it sounds. It's very easy. You go day to day. You don't even have to worry about that stuff. You already know what it is, but you've also got to make sure you've got that extra money, depending on what level you're at, how much are you spending, and you've got to have the extra cash there for when those things come out, and you can't wake up tomorrow and
Yeah, man, definitely. And we know you're busy there. Your phone's probably blowing up. We get it, man. You're running a serious company, man. Congrats. That's so
yeah,
great.
sorry about that. I know that's the 15th missed call.
You know what? It's going to be worth it. You can tell everybody when you're calling them back, tell them you were doing something to help people, get their thoughts and their businesses and what they're doing more optimized. So this is definitely a pay it forward moment, man. Let me ask you, like, if you agree with this. So when we're building our companies, if we're not building it as though we were going to one day sell it, I believe that it's a mistake if we're not doing that, going into it with that mentality. Regardless, even if we're not going to sell it, we should be building it as though we were going to sell it and get the most value, build the most value in our company. Do you agree with that statement?
That's a very good way to look at it, because then you're going to want to mold it. You're going to want to mold it to what you think it's worth. And it's good. It's good to kind of live a little bit in the future. And I'll catch myself doing it. And sometimes I do a lot of thinking and discussing with myself. I really do, in the evenings, even watching TV, sometimes I'm thinking, and and I'll catch myself. I know I'm about to try to do the next thing. And then I'll catch myself talking about it. And people are like, are you sure that, like the first time we do concrete, everybody's like, concrete, huh? We don't even do concrete. How are we going to do it? Don't worry about it. We're going to go get her done. And, and I know that's wild. That's bold. You almost have to be just a little bit crazy if you want to grow fast. The smarter you are, sometimes I feel like it will stunt your growth a little bit. Sometimes you just have to go out and you have to be willing to just try it, do it. And don't be afraid to ask questions, because just like you said, a complete pay it forward moment, guys like you willing to answer questions, help people. To an extent, I think anybody that's lucky enough to have a busy business should do that. So ask all the questions you can. Find somebody who's going to be willing to talk to you, help you, mentor you, because when you can pick up the phone and call somebody, it's going to save you a ton of time, aggravation, and maybe even potentially a quit moment, because if you can call and somebody can walk you through it, none of it's going to be too challenging. You'll be fine. You just got to try. And sometimes you need somebody to call,
It's not easy building a business all on your own, man.
No. Yeah. So, I think you've got a very good thing going on, man. And I really, really hope a lot of people do follow, because, it changed this, at this point in time. It really feels good when you feel like you've made it. It feels good. It's changed my life. And I would love to see other people do that. I really would.
So as you roll into this 2024 season, there's a certain number of working days that you're going to have the ability to go out and make money with. Not 365 days. It doesn't work that way in our industry.
Right.
You got some snow outside, I think, right?
Not right now. We don't.
Right.
We got lucky. We dodged it, but I wish we would have got it, because we'd have plowed her.
Right. Yeah. So as a golden nugget, just make sure, for you watching right now, make sure you understand the number of working days that you have in your year. Understand your costs, your true fixed and variable costs associated with your business, so that you can price things properly as you're going through. And at AK, what we've done is we've actually set up job costing calculators right inside AK Dash now as well, which is cool. So we've got all of the job costing stuff as you're putting quotes out. So that's helpful too. That shines some good light on making sure that people are pricing things and being profitable with their applications. From your side of things right now, what is on the horizon? What is coming for Erskine Construction and Sealcoating, man? What's the next steps?
So we've really started taking trucking a little bit more serious. We're trying to put more trucks on the road, as far as dump trucks and things like that, CDL drivers, really, really trying to just make sure we're good to go. Even 550s loaded heavy, we're trying to stay legal and try to stay ahead of the game there. So paving is going to be much better this year. This will be our second full-time year paving, and I'm ready to get it. We've got a good crew. We paved some pretty big parking lots there towards the end of last year, and the phone's ringing off the hook, man. Like, we've got tons of jobs from last year, so it's great. We've actually taken advantage. We had West Virginia put on a program called RIP Pothole, and it just shows a little gravestone, and they fired up a couple plants and said, let's patch some holes, and the state's doing it, so we're pulling in and getting asphalt, and we're doing the same thing, so we've done that. And and you brought up the snow. That's something else. Any of these guys that are hustlers, if you've got the extra money laying around, you're smart, you want to use it instead of pay 40% to the government or whatever, grab you a salt dog, grab you a snow pile, put it on the truck you're already using, and you can do very well there too, very well.
That's great advice. That's great
Yeah.
advice, man.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about something, because and then I know that you've got to attend all your stuff there. So we'll wrap this up in about 3 minutes. So 5 minutes. So let's speak about something. So have you ever reached a point in your growth where you've hit a spot where you thought about quitting?
Yeah. Yep, I have. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna post pictures as soon as we're done about 45 minutes, one of my trucks wrecked. Very, very nice Peterbilt truck. Super, super nice. It's my best truck, quad axle. It's wrecked. It's being towed right now. And don't get me wrong, I guess I didn't think about quitting there. But it's situations like that I'm telling you, no matter how good you're doing, what you're doing, how your numbers work, how on top of it you are, there will be situations. And you could quit. You could give it all away. But if you don't and you keep pushing, somehow it always gets better, it does. You just have to keep that effort. And the universe is very giving. It's incredibly giving. If you go push, it'll give it back. But it's kind of like turbulence, or flying a jet plane or whatever. There's going to be force against you. So the harder you're trying, you're going to expect to see a little bit more force. So it's all up to you. How much force do you want?
This is cool because I attended an event. It was called Plan or Get Slaughtered, and Keith Cunningham was the guy that led the event, and he wrote a book, a really great book. I urge you to read this thing. It's awesome, man, or listen to the audiobook. It's called A Road Less Stupid, and it is such a great book, man. It changed our business for sure. It had massive impact. We're actually on the board of directors with his company now, which is pretty nice. Cool. Yeah, and so what at this event, Plan or Get Slaughtered, he says, through these developments, through these growths, both personally and through business, I want you to think about if you took a blank piece of paper and you spoke about what it is that you're looking to achieve, and then as the goal. And then you have the starting line. At the starting line, we take off and things are cool. There's very light vibrations, right? The universe, we're filled with energy, right? So there's these light vibrations. For anybody that follows quantum mechanics or quantum physics and you read about that stuff, Einstein and all that, which I'm obsessed with. But you're going through these vibrations that are very, very, very small. And then all of a sudden you get faced with something that is a little bit of, you got some adversity or challenge, and those vibrations start to increase and intensify. And all of a sudden you're hitting a wall where it's like, holy cow, man, I don't know if I can deal with this stress and pain and all these vibrations. And this is just fluctuating at a rapid, high intense pace that's overwhelming. And you all of a sudden want to quit. And you back off from it. You back away from it because it's so painful to be in that high intensive vibration. But what happens is, if you're willing and you desire to grow, you have to break out of that high vibration, overcome the adversity and challenge, and all of a sudden, pop, it grows. And you end up in a new vibration. But don't be overwhelmed or don't feel as though it's unnormal to feel the feeling of wanting to quit and those high vibrations that will push you to a place where it literally you'll curl up in a fetal position and want to throw in the towel on everything.
Yeah.
No, it's normal, and you've got people around you, and people like Colton, myself, communities. You've got people around you that are here to help you grow through those challenging times and adversity, man. I don't care if it's in a Ace Hardware looking for a pump part to get the rig working, or whether it's a Peterbilt truck, man. Those vibrations in that moment feel the same. It's just at a different caliber because you've grown like crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you can do multiple things. You can quit. You can get mad and throw a titty tantrum or go into some, bad ways, but it's very important that if you're going to stay in business, you have to fight those vibrations and get to the other side. You've got to overcome it. And, you will learn the better you handle it. The easier it is, it's all good. It'll be over. Lunch will still be there, So if you're going home, you got another chance. And you just got to stay positive, man. Keep pushing. It'll be all right, So, yep.
I appreciate your time so much. Let's give last piece of advice to somebody watching right now, man. They're either in their beginning stages or they're, through their growth stages. There might be decades in the business, but what's your best advice to somebody based upon your 4 years of intensive experience and also your massive growth that you've experienced as well, brother? What's your best advice?
My very best advice, to be incredibly busy is use every hour you're willing to use. Get up, get on the phone, go knock doors, send emails, do whatever you're best at and go get it. And if you're not really good at it, find somebody who's better than you and work with them. Either learn or give them a great job and work it out. But you gotta, those vibrations there is, you gotta get to the other side. You've got to figure out how to make those vibrations play in your favor and sing you a tune. So get up every morning and find a tune and get it. You know what I mean? So just go, go, go. Find new jobs, and be willing to take on risk, be willing to go out there and get it. Just be honest. Just try your best and get it. But you gotta be getting it.
I am so excited for you, man. Like Grant Cardone says this, and I've read it in one of his books. It's be obsessed or be average. And it's literally a calendar that is empty is like the devil, man. It's nasty. Do not have empty calendars. If you want to really get up there, you want to go make it, fill that calendar up, man. That's some of the best advice ever, Colton. I appreciate that, man.
Yep. Treat the business like the bulldog. And the bulldog is always hungry. So when the food's at the door, how's he act? You need to go get it, and get with it. Feed the bulldog all day long,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you've heard it from Colton from Erskine Construction and Sealcoating right there in West Virginia. Thank you so much, man, for all the time and the energy. And it's so good to be reconnected with you, brother, and great things on the horizon, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. You too. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Have a beautiful, beautiful season, man.
You too, man. See you.
See you, brother.
If you liked this video, go ahead and check out this video or check out this video. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe right here below.